Hey everyone, in this video I think I'm going to go down a little bit different road. I think we've pretty much established that the Electoral College is not a rubber stamp for the election results. This guy here, as an actual elector, is going to confirm that for us. What we need to probably start thinking about and talking about going forward is what could and will actually happen, and break it down and look at some of the things that have been said by people in positions of power and see what we can discern from that. So real quick, we're going to watch this video. It's only 2 minutes long, and he's going to explain, as an elector, what the role of the Electoral College is.
There are 538 of us. Since there's been some confusion about us, I want to explain a few things. Our founding fathers spent years thinking about how our system of government should work, and they wrote a constitution that has guided our country for over 200 years. Like all smart architects or engineers, they also designed a fail-safe mechanism, an emergency brake in case something went wrong. This emergency brake is the Electoral College. You may think that the Electoral College is supposed to rubber stamp the winner of the election. That is not the case. In fact, that is the opposite of what the founders intended. They intended for us to subject the winner of the election to exhaustive scrutiny, and if the candidate does not meet our standards, we are expected to elect an alternative. They were worried about the kind of demagogue who had taken control in so many other countries. So the Electoral College was charged with making sure that the president met 3 important criteria. First, they wanted to make sure that the voters elected a qualified person. Second, they wanted to prevent the election of a charismatic autocrat. Third, the Founding Fathers feared that a president could be elected who was under the influence of foreign powers. The Founders believed that even if the people failed to realize that their president-elect had compromising ties to foreign countries, the discerning members of the Electoral College could protect the country and choose an alternative president. The Electoral College is our fail-safe mechanism. And no, we've never used it before, but our country has never needed it before. We have always elected experienced statesmen, but this time is different. This is the moment Hamilton and Madison warned us about. This is the emergency they built the Electoral College for, and it is our constitutional duty and our moral responsibility to put the emergency measures into action. If only 37 Republican electors change their vote, Donald Trump will not have the 270 electoral votes he needs to be president. 37 patriots can save this country.
Okay, that's an elector himself. Now, whether you believe me or not, I don't think this man in his position would be allowed to put out a video that was patently false. So we can pretty much put that to rest. Now, whether or they will or not, I guess that would be the overriding question. There's been stories and videos put out about there's this group of 15 that intend to do it. When watching that video, I saw something that I had never thought about before, the foreign powers test. Donald Trump, while he has ties to all sorts of places, Saudi Arabia, Russia, even South America, Hillary Clinton herself also has ties. In fact, the Clinton Foundation has taken millions and millions and millions of dollars from Saudi Arabia. So I know this is going to sound really conspiracy theory, but let me show you the line of thinking that I have that brought me to the conclusion. We might not see either one of them. And here's why I think that. Based on that test, both of them could be excluded. So I've been a big proponent of don't listen to what people say when talking about Donald Trump. Listen to what they do, or look at what they do. And that's been my whole motivation. So if that's going to be my motivation in the past, it should be my current motivation. So let's look at some things Trump is actually doing. Number one, you can look these up yourself. They're not moving into the White House. Neither Melania or Barron or Donald Trump, they're in New York. That seems pretty strange that you would run for president. I don't know if there's any other president that's done this, not moved into the White House. He's also not attending intelligence briefings. This man just got elected the chief executive officer of the most powerful nation in the world, the leader of the free world, and he's taken 2 intelligence briefings in an entire month. What? It's not important? It's more important to be on Twitter? You see, I think he knows something. I really do, and I've alleged it before in videos. I think this man knows something. His behavior has been too strange. But let me walk you through why I think something else is going on as well. Way back in the November 2nd or so, Obama was talking in North Carolina, and he did a speech, and I'm going to speed this one up as well to cover it. But basically, he singled Donald Trump out as different than any other Republican, and here's the speech.
We don't win this election, potentially, if we don't win North Carolina. So, I hate to put a little pressure on you, but the fate of the Republic rests on your shoulders. I've got Republican friends who don't think or act the way Donald Trump does. This is somebody who is uniquely unqualified. I ran against John McCain. I ran against Mitt Romney. I thought I'd be a better president. But I never thought that the Republic was at risk if they were elected.
Okay, that's pretty much the crux of it. Republic at risk, uniquely unqualified. Whatever you think about Barack Obama, one way or the other, the man does not speak off the cuff. All of his words have meanings, and he thinks them out well. And, you know, he won 2 elections just as a junior senator. He's incredibly good at making a plan and sticking with it and having the words that come out of his mouth have meaning. So we take that, and then we go to, after that, talking about what was at stake and how important it was that Donald Trump not be president. Almost before, there were states that weren't called. I remember when this came out, states that weren't called, nothing had been decided. The Clinton campaign was in full gear, ready to do recounts and ready to challenge results and see what they could do, because there was problems in 4, 5, 6 states. And then he calls her and tells her to concede. Now that's just not in character unless something else was going on. And even the Clinton campaign said they were flummoxed. And then everything got real quiet. They said that she called and conceded to Donald Trump, but then we didn't hear from her for a while. And then she came out, and I watched the concession speech, and something else really, really strange happened. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah, here's the concession speech here. The first person that spoke was Tim Kaine. And now remember, this is the Democrat Party, and I'm not going to try to broad brush label all Democrats here, but they booed God on stage at their convention. So they're not a group of biblically minded people as a whole. So for their number 2 guy up on the ticket to come out and talk about a New Testament parable in the concession speech really perked my ears up. I'm like, wait a minute. You know, what's going on here? Or could this be something else? And he told a story called the Vineyard Parable. And it's just to summarize, a man needs help working his vineyard, and he hires people all throughout different points in the day, agreeing with each of them to all pay them just 1 denarius, and at the end he pays them all what he agreed to. But the people who'd worked all day grumbled that the people who'd only worked part of the day or just a few hours had gotten paid the same amount of money. Now the meaning of that parable comes down to this: the last shall be first, and the first shall be last. And he also mentioned a quote by William Faulkner, said, "They might have killed us, but they might have whipped us, but they ain't killed us yet," or something like that. Meaning, trying to believe that they weren't done, even though they supposedly conceded. And I'm like, what are they talking about? They conceded. It seems like it's going to be, a complete, whitewash electorally. Then all this stuff starts to come out. And so I'm just thinking, what could possibly be in the works? And then Jill Stein comes out and starts doing recount stuff. And I'm like, who is this girl out of nowhere, out of left field? And what does she have to do with Democrats, and why is she doing this? I have a theory, folks. I really do. And you can call me crazy, but if you go look at Jill Stein and go look at who she is and where she's from, she's a Green Party candidate, and she is from Chicago. And if you read through her wiki, it reads like Barack Obama's, almost right down to, the letter. Her running mate is a man named Ajamu Baraka. And if you read about this guy, you're going to see why this guy is going to become relevant really quick. Social justice warrior, black activist. He's also a veteran. I am very seriously wondering if they knew this about the Electoral College going in, that neither one of these two candidates have the ability to make it through that foreign powers test. And if both of the winners get disqualified based on that, then the Electoral College doesn't have any electoral votes to award. And then based on that, the only two other candidates that ran would have been Gary Johnson and this woman. And I'm wondering if this is what's been going on, if there's been this side play that none of us have seen going on to get these two people installed as president. And there would be nothing really Congress could do about it, because this is the purview of the Electoral College, and if they disqualify somebody based on that test, Congress can't consider them. They're done. That is the incredible power of the Electoral College. On that one day, when they're federal agents, they might as well have 538 tiaras and crowns, because that's how powerful they are for that one day. So that's my theory, folks, going forward. I also there's been some other events, too, going around the world that have pointed to this, that somebody else in foreign intelligence services knows there's going to be this giant shakeup in the leadership in America because they're doing things that don't make sense around the season. I don't have time in this video to cover it. But also, be very careful, folks. December 7th is coming up, and that is the 75th anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor. And if you look at historically what that represented versus where we are now, it is frightening. So, anyway, I've tried to cut this video down as much as I can. People have mentioned my rambling on and others, and they were absolutely right. So I will try to keep these to, 13 minutes or less. So anyway, have a good day.